I'm going to use pseudonyms for anyone I reference in this post. I 41F, am a stay-at-home mom. My husband 48M, whom we'll call Paul, works in finance. We have been married for nearly 20 years. We have 2 kids, whom we'll call Eric, our 18-year-old son, currently a senior in high school, and Mary, our 15-year-old daughter. They are both the lights of my life. My marriage with my husband has grown somewhat stale over the years for a myriad of reasons, such as his work schedule and how I've aged poorly since we first met. Our son Eric has a girlfriend, 18/F, whom he's been dating since they were freshmen in high school. We'll call her Amy. Eric absolutely adores Amy. She's his first love, and she's someone I've always considered as family. This makes the whole situation emotionally excruciating for me. Last week I inadvertently saw my husband's phone screen and got a glimpse of a text thread between my husband and Amy, our son's girlfriend, and I read what looked like a message of her telling him that she misses sucking his cock. I froze in place, in complete disbelief. I spent most of the day convincing myself that I must have misread what I saw. However, I didn't misread it because, over the last several days, I discovered a file on his computer filled with tons of BDSM porn. He clearly has a porn addiction. He also has saved photos of Amy from her Instagram on his computer. Although they weren't inappropriate, she was fully clothed, it was still the proof I needed to confirm that I wasn't going crazy. I also looked at his phone during opportune moments and saw more of their interactions. I wish I had never looked. They were filled with mean, horrible things said at my expense, with him constantly comparing me to her. He would call me fat and old, among other things, with Amy LOLing. I've always had hunches or paranoid feelings that Paul has been cheating on me, but never in a million years could I have fathomed something like this. Last month, I found a thong in our bedroom that I know wasn't mine. I turned a blind eye to it, being naive and acting like it was maybe our daughter's, even though that made zero sense. Not only is he cheating on me, but he's betraying our son. I'm completely devastated. I don't even think words can adequately describe the dread, anger, shock I feel right now. I'm totally overwhelmed on how to handle this because obviously action needs to be taken, but I'm terrified of what kind of psychic blow this will be for my son. I have no idea how to even broach this completely fucked up topic with him. I wouldn't wish this predicament on my worst enemy. I can't even believe I married this scumbag in the first place. And then my mind started to race, realizing that I started noticing specifically unusual behavior from him around the same time Amy turned 18. Was he waiting for her to turn 18 before pursuing this affair? There's so many layers to all of this and I'm completely paralyzed with fear and dread about it all. None of it makes any fucking sense. How did this happen? Am I that much of a stupid idiot that I let all of this happen under my watch? Eric adores Amy, and the thought of revealing this sickening truth to him terrifies me. The impact on his young heart and mind could be devastating. My heart aches for Eric and Mary, who are completely innocent bystanders. I haven't confronted my husband about this because I'm frankly scared of the domino effect. I don't know who to turn to first about this. I share my story not for sympathy, but in search of understanding and perhaps advice from those who might have had to grapple with deep betrayal. Thank you for listening. This is my first account. I 17F live with my dad. My mom was battling cancer for almost 3 years. But she succumbed to it when I was 16. My mom and dad were also in the process of getting a divorce, but I never knew why. Not even a year, I'd say 7, my dad moved someone else in with her 5-year-old son and they got married. She came in acting like she ran the place. She wanted all of my mom's things out and I went ballistic saying that she's not coming in here throwing away anything of my mom's. I told them when I go to college I will rent out a storage unit and then I can move it in there, but for now it's staying in her room. She had a separate room that she would go to after chemo appointments, and like I said, my mom and dad were in the mess up a divorce, so they were not sleeping in the same room. A few months after she moved in, I was looking through all of my mom's stuff, so I could keep a count on everything she had in case she tried to throw anything away. I was looking through her things and saw that she hired a private investigator to see if my dad was cheating. He was cheating all while she was battling cancer. He was cheating with this woman for almost 6 years. This woman is 25 years old and my dad is almost 46. The past few months she's been trying to get me to do things with her. She's also tried to force me to watch her son and tries to pass it off as sibling bonding time. Right before my mom passed, we were talking about taking a few months before I go to college to travel the world. Before she passed, my mom set something up with my aunt so that I can still do the trip, but I'll do it with my aunt. I'm graduating in May, and as time is approaching, my aunt and I are talking more about it. Saturday she sat us down to have a family meeting and she said that she should take over the trip planning from my aunt and that she'll go with me because she's my mom now and this would be good bonding for me, her son, and myself. I shut it down immediately. I told her that this is a trip to honor my mother. My only mother, because I had one and I'm not looking for another one. I told her that she's not coming because I don't want anything to do with her or her affair, baby, so stop trying to force it into my life. My dad asked me why I was acting this way and why I won't give her a chance. I told him that she's young enough to be my sister, and I don't want anything to do with the person he was cheating on my mother with, nor do I want anything to do with the baby he had on my mother while she was battling cancer. He tried to tell me I wouldn't understand what it's like to be married to someone who is dealing with cancer, and I asked him, is it as bad as actually dealing with cancer and then finding out your partner is cheating on you and has a secret baby? It's their kid, he's my half-brother. He blew up at me and said I have no right to speak to him or his wife this way, and that I will be part of this family and I will be taking his wife on the trip. I told him once again, no, I'm not. I'm taking my aunt and he can't do anything about it because I'll be 18 before the trip. Edit. When my aunt gets off of work, the first thing I'm going to do is immediately talk to her about moving my mom's stuff into a storage unit or into the spare bedroom that's going to be mine when I move out. Just until we get back so I can make sure her stuff is safe, because someone said it may not be there when I get back, and I think I would completely lose it if they gave her stuff away when I was gone. I know that I cannot keep a storage unit forever, nor can I hold on to everything of my mom's forever, but it is still too fresh in my heart to think about parting with any of her stuff now, even down to a shirt she hasn't worn in 5 years. This is just really hard for me at this moment, and it seems like I'm the only person who cares about her and her things since she's been gone. This doesn't include my aunt. I know that I'll have to get rid of a lot of it, but now it's just not that time. Also, I want to say that I do not hate nor do I mistreat my dad's wife's child. I just feel indifferent towards them, nor do I want to have a connection or relationship with them. They harbor too much hurt around my mom that I don't want a relationship with them. He's 5, trust me, I know that he's innocent and he has no clue what all of this is about. I just do not want that sort of relationship with him. People trying to make me feel bad because I don't want to be forced into a relationship with him, or if I choose not to have one with him.
Did I humiliate my husband for complaining to his boss? My husband Mark is a CFO, so naturally someone in that position is going to have a bit of an ego. He does not like asking for help or dealing with his feelings. I feel like it is my job as his wife to try and balance that part of him out. He has always had issues with a woman he works with, Claire. She has always been bitchy towards him and even goes as far as trying to sabotage him and embarrass him in front of people. I've said before he should try and have her fired, but he feels that would make him look weak. I don't see how, as he has a great relationship with his CEO. Anyway, he came home from a business trip recently and I could tell something was off. I finally got it out of him. So my husband hates spiders and he's super embarrassed about it, because he thinks it is girly. He was laying by the pool. They always have some free time during business trips, and Claire had someone put a tarantula on him and he obviously freaked out. He did not want all the guys he works with to know he had this fear. I told him that was illegal and he could have her fired. He said to let it go, but I hate seeing him be bullied, so a week later we had an event to attend and I brought it up to the CEO. CEO laughed and said I should ask my husband what he did to Claire to deserve it, and also said he wasn't firing anyone, and referred to her as his little superstar. When I brought it up to my husband, he lost his mind. I've never seen him that pissed. He was yelling at me that I humiliated him, breached his trust, that he'll never tell me anything again, that I made him look like a pussy. He ended up storming out of the house. Now he says he's getting shit at work for my tattling and he is still being cold. Am I wrong for choosing my wife and young son over my grown daughter? I 50M, have a daughter Chris, F27, from my previous marriage. I am now married to my wife, F45, and have a son, 5M. Chris and I used to be very close, but as she has gotten older I feel like we drifted apart. Chris recently got married. She and her now husband decided to do a child-free wedding. Chris told me she wanted me to walk her down the aisle. I of course agreed. Then about a month later, probably around 8 months before the wedding, she told me my wife the wedding was going to be child-free, no expectations. I tried reasoning with Chris because finding childcare can be difficult, and she said she gave me enough time to find someone to watch my son for one day. And that I am her dad and that one day is really important to her. Well, we couldn't find childcare. My wife was going to stay with our son while I went to the wedding. I didn't feel comfortable with leaving my wife and son for the whole day, so I decided to not go to the wedding. My ex-wife ended up texting me calling me a huge asshole because Chris was heartbroken on her wedding day. I explained to my ex-wife that I didn't feel comfortable leaving my wife and son alone all day and that maybe Chris shouldn't have done a child-free wedding. Chris and I haven't talked since, which was 2 weeks ago. She ignores my calls and texts. I feel like maybe I was an asshole. Am I?